Hey friends, welcome to the Taste Toast Travel Podcast. We're your hosts and resident foodies, Epicureans, and lovers of all things travel and exploration.
I'm John, and I'm a certified somm and a certified specialist of wine, and I've worked in the wine and hospitality industry for over 10 years.
I'm Tara, and I've worked in the wine industry for over 7 years, both in hospitality and digital marketing.
When my wife and I first met, we bonded over our love of eating, drinking, and traveling the world. That passion has only grown over time. Now we want to share this passion with you from an insider perspective. We're only scratching the surface here, and we have a lot more in store that we can't wait to share with you all. Grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and enjoy the journey with us. Cheers.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Taste Toast Travel Podcast. I'm Tara.
And John. That was my best ASMR voice.
Me off so bad on that one. That was kind of. I
was
was
good,
kind
huh?
of here for it. I kind of like it. Oh my god. I forgot what I was gonna say now. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm super excited for this particular topic. Also, just had a shot of espresso, so I'm like buzzing now. But for those who are watching this on YouTube or some other video format, my hat is a little giveaway here. You, on the other hand, have the wrong sport on your head.
I don't have a Ferrari hat.
No, you do not. But I have one because we're going to talk about
Ferrari.
What are we going to no, not just Ferrari.
Formula One.
Talking about Formula One today. We're really excited.
One of the biggest spectator sports in the world.
Yeah. Wait,
Of course,
what was
you
that fun
wouldn't
fact
know
that-
it.
What was that fun
'cause
fact
we're
you
in
just
America. And we
okay.
just turn left in this country. That's all we do is left.
Oh,
'Cause
I get it, because
NASCAR,
NASCAR,
you
you
turn
only turn
left.
left. Oh, that's. I was like,
Gonna turn left
I
and
was
just
like, are
keep
you
on
getting
turning left.
are you getting political on me? Okay. What was the stat that you just shared with me and your dad and your family?
Yeah, it was like
Do
NASCAR.
you remember the exact numbers?
NASCAR is one of the most watched, like sports in the United States.
Right.
The
my favorite.
average viewers of a NASCAR race
Yeah.
is like 3.3 million people watch a NASCAR race, which is pretty good. Like that's a lot of people.
Sure, but like, how many people are in the U.S.? You probably don't know the answer to that. I don't know.
I mean, a lot.
Whatever.
Obviously, I would say around 300 million, maybe. So what, like 1%?
I'm gonna Google this as your Okay, continue. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't
so
know.
whatever, 3-ish million.
3
watch
million people
NASCAR.
watch one race. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
But
Okay.
I don't know what the viewership for like a NFL football game is.
we have 340 million.
Yeah, okay.
People
So,
in the
like,
U.S. as of July 2024. Anyway, so 3-ish million watch NASCAR, and how many?
And then for
Formula
the
One.
average race in Formula One has 70 million viewers because
That's
it's
crazy.
worldwide.
Yeah,
NASCAR is popular in the United States, and it's only popular with
I mean, who
apparently
the-
3.3 million people per race, whereas
Um,
Formula One is, one of the largest world. It might, well, after soccer,
after soccer. Yeah, I was
it's
gonna
like
say soccer,
one
probably.
of the largest
Yeah,
world viewed sports, essentially,
I feel like it's gained a lot of popularity
in the United States.
in the U.S. for sure.
It's always
yeah,
been popular,
it's been
in,
the-
in
yeah, for
Europe,
sure.
UK, all that. It's always been, but here it's been
Yeah,
kind of gradually getting
It's
popular.
like trendy here now, which is like kind of, that's how I view. I don't know. I feel like people are just like, oh, I'm gonna go to a Formula One race because I can, or it's like because they're rich and they can afford it. But it's
Well,
like,
yeah,
but it, I don't know. Whatever. Americans are like just now catching on, and Formula One's getting popular. In the last 2-3 years, Vegas, the new Vegas
Mhm.
track came to be. Was
Yeah.
that? Is it 2 years old now? It's really new.
they've had 2 races there.
2 races.
So
Yeah,
we've had Vegas, there's Miami, there's Austin, which
Yeah.
has always been, Austin's been there for a long time.
that's been there for a while. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the newer ones were like Miami and Vegas.
Right. Miami would be
um,
fun.
I know. Well,
Austin would be fun too.
it's just the problem is with every American sport, we decide to like,
American it up.
yeah, and it's just way too
So annoying.
expensive.
Yeah, that's the other thing. What were you saying too? You read something. I mean, multiple drivers have come out and said that like they're kind of
Like races are too
Just-
expensive.
yeah. It's like the
'cause
true fans.
people that like want to go watch can't afford it.
Yeah,
I was
it's so
talking to some
sad.
people at work,
Mhm.
and they actually I was talking to 2 different groups at different times. One of them went to Miami, the Grand Prix in
Mhm.
Miami, and they got like a 3-day pass. So it's like, qualifying
Qualies, yeah.
and then the race on Sunday. And
Mhm.
like for like 2 tickets, they spent like over 20 grand.
What?
Yeah.
Were they just in the regular stands? Like they just
Oh, I don't know where they sat. I'm
like
sure it
they
was
I'm
a great
curious.
spot. And
Yeah.
then I think they
Starting line or something.
the the Las Vegas race, I
Mm-hmm.
had some
So
people there and they
expensive.
said they got offered tickets. I think they said 2 tickets was like 10 grand
They
each.
didn't go?
No.
Oh my
I don't know. They're
God.
like, I don't really want to spend $10,000 on a ticket. I'm like, oh,
Oh, they would have had to
fair.
get the ticket. Oh, they weren't gifted. Duh.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
they
Yeah.
got offered to purchase them at
Oh,
$10,000 each.
Jesus Christ. I
So it's
mean,
like shit like that. It's like nobody can do that unless you're
yeah,
mega wealthy.
it's really sad because like there are just true diehard like genuine
There are
fans. I
cheaper
mean,
seats, obviously, but
yeah, well, and,
still.
and that's the whole point of this episode is we're going to talk about our Formula One experience. We'll get to that in a
And
second.
that still wasn't
But
super cheap.
no, yeah, well, we didn't go to the one in the US. Spoiler alert. But yeah, it's kind of sad because I feel like it's just one of those things where like maybe not in every case, but like a lot of just wealthy people are going just because they can. And in fact, one of the reasons that is prompting this episode now is a couple things. Number one, Formula One starts this weekend as of the time that we're recording
Sunday,
this. So by the
Sunday,
time this comes
Sunday.
out, it's coming out the day after the Australian, I was about to say Australian Grand Prix
Mm-hmm.
will have happened. So we'll see what happens there. But also, we just finished Drive to
Yeah,
Survive
the newest
on
season, sure.
Netflix. So that was something. That was it's it's like it recaps the last season, so it's like things you've already seen, but it's I don't know, I love it. Truthfully, that I mean, you definitely, but like that documentary got me into Formula One.
Mm.
It really got me passionate about it, and like because you see the drivers more up close. But what was funny, and we can unpack a little bit of that documentary later, but do you remember there was like a scene with like George Russell was walking in to wherever and some guy comes up to him and he's like
Oh,
Lando or Norris,
yeah.
doesn't even like he doesn't even
You
know.
don't even go here.
Yeah, literally that's what I wanted to say, and he was just like I'm George Russell, but
Yeah,
like, and then he was like that guy's obviously not a Formula One fan. It's
yeah.
like, yeah, go away, like I don't know, make room for the actual fans, man. Come
Yeah,
on.
I mean,
Ugh,
a lot of them,
bums me out.
especially in the US, but it's more places, is like these sporting events in the US are definitely more like social events than they are like
Yes,
actually going to watch like like
because you're
the
like a
sport, the game.
diehard fan and just you
So like
bleed Ferrari,
really
whatever.
big, San Francisco Giants
Giants
fan.
fan, yeah.
So been to many, go to
Yeah.
a lot of games, and it's like that stadium is amazing, but like
I love that
there's so
stadium.
many people that go to the game and
Mhm.
don't even watch. They don't even go and watch the game. They go and like hang out in the bars there and like just like it's
Interesting.
like a social thing. You just go and hang out
Huh.
and it's just like the atmosphere around you and like you don't watch an inning of the game. You're just
Really?
there like
I would
drinking and
think you'd
having
watch
a
a
good
little bit
time.
of it at least. Like,
Just people, yeah, season ticket
wow.
holders that
Okay.
don't even like watch. They just go for the party.
I have thoughts and feelings about that. Although I guess if you're a season ticket holder, I don't know. Listen, I like baseball. I appreciate it, but it does get very boring if things
Well,
aren't
don't.
happening. Like,
Yeah, I mean, well, don't
I
like.
don't know.
I don't
You're
know.
gonna defend baseball because you've played.
It's just things like that. It's like they raise the price of the tickets for
Yeah.
everyone else, and it's
Yeah,
like
that's true.
they're just
That's true.
screwing it up for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's like here, it's all at you go to a game or an event, sporting event. It's like the food, the drinks, the
Oh my God,
atmosphere,
so
all
expensive.
that. And like I've been to sporting events in Europe,
Yeah.
and like they had one beer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went to a soccer game in Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
They had one beer for sale. They didn't have like 17 different things on tap. They had one beer,
Really?
yes, and they had hot dogs. That is it.
What?
That is
In
it.
Barcelona?
If you go
You
to the
couldn't do
game,
any better?
you're literally like glued to the game and you're watching.
Yeah, yeah,
People
because
that
they
go
actually care.
are watching this game.
Yeah,
They're not like interested in like
there's no.
having some truffle mac and cheese and
Yeah.
like,
What's the thing
an
at
artisanal like fucking lager.
what's the thing at AT&T? It's AT&T Park still, right? No, it was Pac
Oracle.
Bell. It's Oracle now. It's been through so many
Pac
name
Bell was
changes.
OG,
Right.
really
And then it
old.
was AT&T,
Then
right?
it was AT&T. Now
That's
it's
what
Oracle.
I feel like OGs really refer to it too. It's still like
Pac Bell.
AT&T. Well, I wouldn't call it Pac Bell now. I call it AT&T.
I remember going
but
when it was brand new. It was like
Oracle Park.
2008,
Okay.
brand new. Pac Bell Park. I was going there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I was joking about what's the crab is it crab sandwich?
Crazy crab sandwich.
What do we have there? Yeah,
it's like $20,
oh
but
my God, it's
delicious.
gotten so expensive. Yeah, we're so bougie.
It's very good.
Anyway, that being said, the real reason we're here today, and this is like kind of in the mode of our theme of travel, is we had an opportunity to go to a Formula One race. That was in 2022 now. Yeah. It was the year we got married.
2 years back.
So we actually, for those who don't know, we had 2 wedding ceremonies, one in Napa.
Because one wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't. Listen, I would have, we had one in Napa, California, and one in Italy. Both were pretty small.
You know how like spoiled you sound right now?
Yes.
We got married in Napa Valley.
In Italy.
And then we went and had a wedding in Italy
Listen,
at a winery, and we had a villa.
Okay, for anyone who's not getting the villa reference, it's from Love Island. He pokes fun at it all the time. Yes, we do. So good.
But we stayed in a villa.
You say that so well. It just cracks me up every time. Yes, I realize it was bougie. It wasn't as expensive as it sounds, relatively speaking. So when we had our Italy ceremony, which was in Siena, just outside of it, we had our honeymoon immediately after because we're like, duh, we're there. Why not? So on that honeymoon, we went to, where did we go? Positano, just about Amalfi Coast, up to...
No, we went to,
Milan. And then Nice.
Yes.
As well. But the original plan was not to go to Milan. You somehow, and we've talked about this a little bit, but this is where I kind of wanted to start, was how we even figured out that there was a race going on during the time that we were there.
I know.
I don't know. You stumbled upon it somehow.
Yeah, it was so random. It was just, we're booking our trip.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're going to be in Italy in these dates. Wonder what kind of events are going to be going on in Italy during the time we're there, if anything.
Right.
And so I started looking at it, and I was like, wouldn't that be cool if there was a Formula One race while we were there? And God damn it, there was.
Just one of the most important for Ferrari. By the way, if you can't tell, we're hardcore Ferrari fans, so.
I'm Italian.
Yes, we know. We know, dear. And we know I'm not. Thank you for...
Yep. You said it. Anyway.
Rubbing that in my face.
I was just like Googling Formula One schedule, and I saw, the race in Monza in Italy, just outside Milan, was like
smack dab. It was
right
quite
in the middle of
aligned,
when we were going to be there.
Truthfully,
like, holy shit, that's just how serendipitous.
How serendipitous.
So,
indeed.
Like, well, obviously we have to go somehow.
Yeah,
so
we were just like,
we made it work. It was a bit out of the way, but we made it work.
It wasn't. Yeah, I mean, listen, it wasn't. It was a little bit of a trek. Well worth it, though.
I mean, we're down past Naples, and then...
Yeah, I mean, that in and of itself is not convenient to get to. The Amalfi Coast is not the easiest, like...
Yeah, I know, but we're, like, super south, and Milan is, like, super north. It's like...
Yeah, right. But that's the thing. We were originally going from, like... We would have flown from Naples to, like, Nice, I guess, originally. So we were just like, okay, well, now we got to figure out how to, like, get Milan into this trip somehow. But we did it. It was a very quick turnaround. We went to southern Italy first, flew from Naples to Milan. Yeah. Naples airport, by the way. My God, for anyone else who's ever been there.
I barely remember that airport.
Really? Oh my God. I remember we were okay. Like things were...
I don't really remember
it's chaos. It's just chaotic. It's exactly how anyone were to describe it. I remember other people in line that were like really pissed off about something. There's no sense of urgency.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
It's exactly what you would picture.
Pretty sure I blocked it out.
Yeah, but I would remember it. I sure did not. I remember it. But we were okay because I think we got there on time, and because I knew that airport was like notorious for that kind of stuff.
It was nice too because we got to Milan like one day before the race.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of time. Yeah, we got there like the afternoon before. I remember we got to our Airbnb, which is pretty cute. It was in like a cool area of Milan. So long story short, we didn't get a lot of time in Milan. It was literally that afternoon we flew in, the day of the race, and then we flew to Nice like that next morning. So it was a lot to try and fit in. But I was like, because I think we even talked about like not doing Nice or like doing something close. And I was so hell bent on going to Southern France. I was like, there's no way I'm sorry, I'm putting my foot down. We're going to Nice somehow. And it all worked out and it was great. But yeah, so made our way up to Monza and it was super cool. So yeah, we stayed in kind of like south of the Duomo and Milan, I guess, if you will. I can't remember the neighborhood, but it's like
I
kind of a
know. It's
cool,
on the
like
tip of my tongue, but
hippie,
yeah.
up and coming kind of
Yeah, it was like a
neighborhood.
younger neighborhood. It's
Yeah.
cool.
But anyway, yeah. So I mean,
It's like such a like so the race is in Monza, which is
north, as you said, yeah.
northeast of Milan,
Mhm.
and you have to. They have buses
From Milan.
from Milan to get
Do
there.
we? Well, we certainly didn't do that. We did a train.
Yeah, they have buses and trains. So
Yeah.
we did train and bus.
Getting there was not bad.
Getting there was fine. Getting back, horrendous.
Yeah. Well,
10 out of 10.
We'll talk.
Would not do it again.
0 out of 10. Oh my god.
Yeah,
It was. Yeah, we'll get there.
It was rough.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, train was. I mean, only recommendation, I think, unsolicited recommendation, if anyone's listening and is like, should we, shouldn't we? For sure, go at least to Monza if you ever can. But
Just
yeah,
rent a car.
yeah, you could. Yeah, we could rent a
I
car.
would.
I don't know how the highways were at that.
I'd rent a car.
Getting into Monza, it could have been a little crazy, but
I don't think
basically
very
just-
bad because everyone takes public transport.
That's true. Yeah, the trains weren't super. I remember like at the time, and I also just think we left early enough, which was smart of us. Like we just wanted to get there with well ahead of time.
And we didn't even get there well ahead of time.
No, we did not.
Yeah.
I remember that we got there just in time to basically like
we saw
get
the
a little
planes fly
food.
over, and that was it.
Which was kind of a bummer because we wanted to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Like by the time that happened, but I want to say first, like it was not what I expected.
Yeah, me.
Like I knew it was kind of out there, but like literally, you guys. Okay, so you take a train, and then I think you're right. There's like a bus that takes you
to the
like
stadium.
basically this. Yeah,
all the different gates.
but like this gate entrance thing, but it's like not for any Americans listening. It is not like a proper gate that you would anticipate at like
it's not what you would
event.
imagine. Yeah,
it's like a field that you're almost dropped off.
Yeah,
at.
if you've been to
Like,
any sporting event in the United States, you're
forget
not prepared
what you know.
at all.
It's not. It's not. It's just not.
It's chaotic. There's a lot going on. You just kind of have
really
to
funny.
feel it out. Yeah, there's a long walk. I remember walking.
It's definitely
a
a very
lot
long walk
to get to the gate.
through like. It's rural.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's
a
just like
rural track.
like,
It's
just
funny.
Well, I mean, it takes up so much space.
Yeah, no, I know.
You have to have it
totally.
out in the middle of nowhere.
understand.
But like, yeah, getting to it, you're walking through like mainly just like
You're on like a dirt.
yeah, it's
Was
just
it
like
paved even?
it was almost like a giant big park
Yes.
that you had to walk through a park.
Yeah. I think it got paved eventually, but yeah, it was like, yeah, it's funny. You're kind of just you kind of feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, but there's crowds and stuff, but it wasn't super crazy getting in. I mean, there's definitely a lot of people, but people were kind of just
The weird thing
whatever.
I found was like
finding a bathroom was
like that
horrible.
vendor finding a bathroom in Italy anywhere
It's
is
just
horrendous.
yeah.
All the vendors selling things were all outside of the track.
Yes. Yeah.
So like you would
Nothing
walk on this
inside.
like long road, and on both sides of the road there were vendors selling whatever clothes,
There might have been some on the
some
inside. now that I
food,
think about that.
drinks. No, I walked.
Actually, no, not really.
There
You're
wasn't.
right.
It was all on the outside.
Yeah, that was funny. Which worked out for us because we needed to get, i.e., this hat,
Which is
and
strange to
some
me
swag.
because like when you go to any sporting event here, like
It's all
there's
inside.
vendors everywhere inside the stadium, but like
Right.
this is all outside the stadium.
Mhm.
And then you have to when you go in the stadium, you couldn't bring the stuff
Oh,
you
we couldn't
bought.
bring alcohol. That's right. So we got
Yeah.
food, and we both had a beer, and we thought we could bring it in. We couldn't.
Yeah.
So and I still had like
A good amount.
4/5 of my beer, so I just
Yeah.
had to basically.
So you buy a
chug it.
beer on outside the stadium or outside the track on your way in, thinking like, "Oh, this is great. I'm just gonna take this
Yeah,
beer
you
inside."
can't
They're like,
bring
"You
it.
can't bring it." Like, what the shit are you talking about?
We would have gotten food had we known all of this. And this is like again, things to keep in mind if you ever go to Monza or anywhere else in Europe. Like, if that's the case at other things, like get your stuff inside. If there's like merchandise and stuff, I guess maybe get on the outside. But like food and drink, only thing I would have done differently
Yeah.
had I known, I would have like gotten that stuff.
Yeah.
Once we got in, because then we would have gone in earlier too. Because that was the thing, we were
True.
hungry. We were like, oh, we got to get food. And that's where, when we just talked about the planes, like kind of missed the planes going over. It was like, as we were walking in, we kind of wish were like settled somewhere.
Yeah.
I should also mention, we did this pretty cheap. So we did like standing seat. So we did not have like a proper
Yeah, we weren't in the
seat.
grandstands. We did standing room
No.
only, which were still like $200 a piece.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah. So I don't know, depending on your budget, I guess. So yeah, that's the other thing too. I guess the other thing I sort of wish we had done was gotten there even earlier, so we really could have like found a more legit
Yeah.
spot. The spot that we found, So again, it's like this ruralness around the track kind of, and the places to like stand or sit was like basically on dirt. We
Yeah, it
ended
was
we
just
ended
grass,
up at like this
grassy
strange little
knolls.
hill thing behind a gate that was like was like, but we were as close to like the the barbed wire fence essentially that we could get, so it was
Yeah,
still like kind of a decent view, and we
yeah.
just it was so crowded otherwise that we didn't want to like lose our spot, so we were like, but I remember you having to like go get us like food or beer midway through, and it was, I think, I don't know, about
I
you,
would
I would have
spend
invested in a
more.
seat next time.
Yeah, if I was to go back or when I go back,
Yeah,
I would
when, not if.
I would definitely just spend more money to have a proper seat.
Yeah.
Just it makes it easier.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just a little more enjoyable,
mm,
more
but
comfortable. I don't know. We were
mm,
newly married on a budget. We had our, like whatever.
yeah.
I still don't regret a thing, but I would if I were to do that differently next time. Yeah. But it was
Oh,
incredible. I mean,
the other
what?
thing too about buying food and like drinks inside when you're in the track is you have to buy tokens,
Oh, that's
and then they give you
right.
tokens to pay with. It's such a pain in the
I don't
ass.
I That seems like such an unnecessary step to me.
So yeah, you take your
What
20
was the rationale
euros,
behind
you
that, do you
go
know?
to the token booth, you give them
That's
20
crazy.
euros, and they give you whatever
That's
10,
super funny.
30 tokens, whatever the shit it was, the exchange rate. And then you would just go to like the line where, food line is like two
Right.
tokens for a hot, 5 tokens for a beer, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how you did it. I
Yep.
don't, it's so
I
strange.
know.
And
I don't
just kind
really.
of like an unnecessary step. Just
Yeah.
give the people money and let them give you stuff for it in return.
Yeah. It seems
But
kind of
yeah,
silly.
I'm not sure what the tokens
I
was.
forgot about that.
Probably because all the vendors were paid up front or something. I'm not sure though.
Maybe.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but yeah, that was kind of a pain in the
I
ass because you
forgot
had to
about
get
that.
in 2 lines instead of just one.
You know why I forgot?
Um,
Because I wasn't the one that went
I
and
know
go
I
got
was running around
it.
like, oh, I
I
get to
was
the front of the line
passenger
and I'm like, I
princessing
only
this whole
need two
time.
hot dogs and 2 beers, and they're like,
Where are
all
your
right,
tokens?
that's 17 tokens. I was like,
What?
how about 20 euros? And
50 euros,
they're
I'll
like,
give it to you.
no, you had to go get the
That's
token. I was like, shit. So then I get
funny.
out of line, go to a different line.
Yeah, and I remember it taking you a while, and you were telling me about that, and I felt so bad. But
Other
yeah,
things about it too is the race is so fucking loud. I wasn't
yes,
expecting kind of how loud it was.
yeah.
Luckily, I had
Did I have earplugs too? I don't know. I
yeah,
don't remember if I
I had
did.
earplugs,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
was
that's a good point.
helpful because it was loud when
I
they would
did
come
forget how
by.
loud it was.
Full,
Yeah. But it's
super
so
loud,
cool though. Like,
super
oh,
loud.
it's so cool being so like close to the cars, and just God, they go fast.
Mm-hmm.
So freaking fast. Where we were was kind of on like a straight, I
Yeah,
think.
it was
Like
more of a
maybe there's like a
straight.
little bit of a curve, but like yeah, so it was kind of cool. But I mean, didn't really see them coming because they came so fast, and it was just like, there you go.
Yeah,
But
it was. And then I didn't know at the end of the race that everyone could just run out
okay,
onto
that's what I
the
wanted to talk
track.
about next.
Yeah,
That hands down was my favorite part. That
yeah.
was I've been at some cool sporting events. I too have been to a soccer game, a Roman Florence soccer game where like the stands were on fire and like it was super cool. Like, man, Europe knows how to do sporting events. But I also didn't know that. And obviously when we saw people starting to do it, I was like, well, we have to go do
Mm.
that. I mean, that's awesome. So it's just like I don't know. I just thought it was such a cool, like, this is gonna sound so woo woo, but just like a human experience, like all this crowds and all these people that are so excited. And there was a lot of Ferrari, basically all Ferrari fans, a lot of Ferrari fans.
Well, the race
All
we were
just
there,
like,
Charles got second. He got second place.
yes, was it second?
He didn't get first.
Oh,
He was second.
fucking what's his face probably did.
Yeah, Max got
Max.
first, and then Charles got second,
Yeah,
I
so that was
believe.
exciting. And then yeah, well, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, anyway, it was just fun, like everyone running and just like celebrating and cheering. And yeah, so we had like a hot minute of a
Yeah,
run
it was a
around though, because
hell.
we were
Yeah,
on
to
the
get to like the
other side of the
where
track.
all the paddocks are, and like
Yeah.
yeah,
But it was just super cool. It was, yeah, it definitely got a little, once you got to like where they were all gonna like be standing up at the thing and like doing all the champagne, like it was pretty crowded, but everyone seemed, I don't remember feeling like people were being pushy or
mm,
obnoxious, or
mm,
I feel like it's also one of those things where it was like, I don't know if this is kind of different in America. I feel like it sort of is, where it's like easier to get drunker at our sporting events, and I just don't feel like
yeah.
it was like that there, and whether or not
No, that's what I'm saying.
because
People don't go there to drink and get hammered.
yeah,
Like,
seriously,
they
I
go there
don't
to watch the event.
right.
Like, that's what you're there for. Whereas
It's
here, everyone's just
refreshing,
like gets
honestly.
hammered drunk at
Yeah.
events.
So I
It's
feel like
just
people were
different.
it was still a little crazy, but it was like respectful crazy
Yeah.
chaos. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to walk on the track
Yeah.
literally moments after all
It
these cars
all
were
like
just racing
ended.
on it.
Yeah.
It's like you're on the track
It's
now. It's
pretty
kind of
cool.
cool. And you
Yeah.
walk around, and then there's these massive, like, Ferrari, like, banners that, take
Yeah.
up the crowd, that all
Oh,
these
yeah,
people
yeah.
are holding. And
This is
there's,
so
like,
cool.
those, the smoke
Yeah.
sticks everywhere, the
Like
green and
red
the red
ones,
smoke
like
everywhere. Yeah, it was just a cool vibe.
good
hmm
energy. Yeah.
And then the music.
And I discovered my favorite song ever, 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 ever.
Yeah,
Ferrari by
Ferrari.
James Hype. Oh my
Yeah, they
god.
were just playing that on repeat.
I heard that and then everyone was singing to it. I hadn't heard this. It wasn't like a brand new song. Like it was just but
You just never heard it.
I'd never heard it. And I was like, what is this magical, magical song? And then my phone started dying, so you had to take pictures and videos and everything for me. So I remember before Charles and Max and who got third? I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I could look it up. But anyway, before they all were like up there, they kind of like the drivers like kind of like climbed the fence and were like waving to everyone, and we were like, I'm a huge Charles Leclerc fan, and
we know
it's not because he's attractive at all. And he was, like meters away, and I was like fangirling so hard. I was like,
I'm a fan of his girlfriend.
Shut up. Whatever. I'll let you have
Yeah,
that.
it was Max 1, Charles 2, George Russell 3.
Russell 3. Yeah, I had a feeling it was either McLaren or Mercedes. Yeah. What was funny is like I don't think Carlos had a good race or something happened with Carlos because people were like calling for him even though he didn't win. He must have gotten fourth or fifth. Yeah. But he like didn't climb the fence and kind of say hi like Charles did. I don't know what that was about.
He was probably pissed off.
Yeah, he was pissed off about something. I was like, it's a bummer. I wish I could have seen him, but whatever. It was super cool. Yeah, and then just watch them get all their
it was cool. All the
things
trophies and the songs and all that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then now we had to get back to
Oh
Milan,
my god.
and that was a nightmare.
The droves of people. Yeah, so basically if you took the bus that you need to get to the train, we walked down like the long weird rural driveway thing to get back to like the quote bus stop. And there was a lot of buses, but they could only fit so many people.
Man, what a nightmare.
And just waiting in line. And because we were during the race, I think we did manage to sit, but like whatever shoes I was wearing was piss poor choice between the walking and everything else. And I literally remember so we made it on the bus. I can't remember if I think we were standing on the bus too, probably after like an hour damn near of waiting. And then the train, oh my god, the train line, I'm having like PTSD.
Oh yeah, I remember like when you go to like
massive lines to get on anything.
When you go to like Disneyland and it's like the
I wouldn't know, I've never been.
Oh, when you go to any famous amusement park and you have like that serpentine,
yes,
like
yeah,
like guardrail line. It's just like serpentine, and it just went forever.
It took a long time,
and it would and
you're standing there throughout all that,
and then like a bus would show up, 20 people would get on, and then you'd wait for 10
minutes.
minutes.
I was at the train. That's not even
this is
both
on the bus,
waiting for the bus and the trains.
And then you get to the bus gets there, 20 people get on, and then 10 minutes later another bus shows up, 10 minutes later another bus. So it was just it took us probably to get hours to get back from the race back to
we were probably
Milan.
It took us longer to get home than we were maybe even at the race for. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
It was crazy. Yeah,
I think it was like 2 hours. The race was like 2 hours or so, and it took us maybe like 3 hours to get home.
It was pretty bad
because we got home and it was like dark.
Yeah, I remember on the train, I had like never my feet and my legs had never.
Oh yeah, you were so tired.
In that way, it was so bad. I could have fallen asleep on that train. There was nowhere to sit. Obviously, I think I got a sliver of a step somewhere. I was not.
I stood the whole time.
Yeah, you did. I was not in a good headspace.
Yeah,
it was not good.
I wasn't prepared for how long day was going to be.
No, me neither. I did not anticipate. Listen, we knew it was going to be busy. We're very aware of how public transportation is in Europe. None of that I think was surprising to us. But like,
you live, you learn. We know what to do different this time.
Yeah, the gravity of it was pretty bad. Oh my god, I just remembered. Do you remember when we got back into Milan? We had to get another bus back to our Airbnb. I think we
Mhm.
went straight back to the Airbnb at that point.
Yeah, we're
Or
like, let's go home
figured out
and
dinner.
like
I don't know what we
cry and then
did.
go to go get some
Did
dinner.
we go back out? We might have gone back
Of course
out.
we
I
did.
think we
Why
did.
would we not?
Yeah, we're kind of a go big or go home people. We weren't gonna waste a night in
Of
Milan. So
course we
yeah, I
did.
think
We went out, had
we
dinner.
got our shit together. I can't even remember where we went.
I can't remember at all.
Oh my god.
It was delirious.
Yeah, I can't. I feel like we went somewhere like
I'm almost positive I had pizza.
that would be on brand for
Almost
you.
positive.
You
I
had
had
a
pizza. I remember
lot
having-
of pizza on that trip,
Yeah.
and also our trip last year.
I like it in it. I like
You
being in
love
Italy
pizza.
because I don't get judged for eating pizza for every meal.
Only a little bit by me.
It's just like normal. It's like, oh yeah, you have pizza. Like I
So
fucking love it.
true. I know.
And it's like
Listen,
I
it's
can eat
really
pizza
good.
whenever the hell
And
I
guess
please.
what? You walk it off,
Yeah.
or you stand it off. In this case, yeah, we rallied, but but what I was gonna say, do you remember like there was like a I don't know if she's like a homeless woman or someone that was like on drugs or something, but like standing in front of the train or the bus that we were, or I think it was like a trains that they have like throughout Milan, and it was like there was just a lot of homelessy, druggy people kind of around the bus stop at the Milan train station, and she was blocking the train to like, or bus or whatever it was that we took.
Yeah,
like,
I kind of remember this. Yes.
I remember actually being kind of scared. I was like, I don't want to be here. Like,
yeah, I
you
vaguely
remember
that.
Yeah, that was another thing. She was a freaky woman. Anyway, sidebar.
Yeah, I
but
vaguely remember that. Yeah.
so anyway,
And I was like, I don't care, hit her.
What? We're too tired for this.
Yeah.
Anyway, highly recommend. I do wish we had more time in Milan. It's funny. I've never been super drawn to Milan.
Which is funny because you're obsessed with fashion, and like that's the fashion hub of the world.
I don't know what it is. It just didn't. You know, there's some places you go and you feel like home, and it just like Florence for me, and a lot of other places in Italy too. For some reason, Milan just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. It's beautiful.
I get it. Milan is definitely much more like modern.
Incredible, but yeah,
modern in terms of like the vibes, not like modern in terms of
Yeah.
like the city,
Yeah.
because it's like all about like the fashion industry, the finance industry.
Right.
It's all like, that kind of thing where like Florence, for instance, is all about Renaissance.
It's a little
and, like,
yeah,
older
maybe
and
that's what I'm
tradition.
feeling.
Where Miami,
Amalfi, Siena,
Milan has some of that, but it's definitely not like
Yeah.
what it's all about.
To be fair, we definitely we saw like a decent amount of the city, barely, just on like trains and buses and things where we
like
were.
the
So I
cathedral, cool
got an
cathedral.
idea of it, but we
There were some
I need to get
cool
a
like
fair
rooftop bar
chance.
areas.
Yeah, we did do that. I remember we
It
went
was
to
cool. It was like a
cool,
Campari
yeah,
bar.
kind of in the main thing there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd go back.
Yeah,
I
I
just
want to go back.
Definitely need to go back. I mean, and actually really do
I like how that
Milan
it's north
properly.
and you can get to places too from there.
Yeah,
'Cause you go to like Venice if you wanted
Valdosta.
to.
Oh
Yeah,
my
you can go up to the
God.
to the
the
Dolomites.
absolute
You could
top north of
go.
it. Please, everyone go. It's literally, it's magic. We need to get you there. I've said this a million times. Yeah, high on the list to go back to. Anyway, that was our experience with Monza. So definitely, like I said, highly recommend, but also learn from our mistakes. Prepare for a day of. I might not have been as bad on the way home had we had a proper seat at the track.
That's what I'm saying. Like, almost was like worth it to like have a car and sit in traffic because at least you're sitting
Right.
and you have your own space.
I know that is kind of true.
Versus like being packed into a place with like a sardine and having to stand. Right.
People were pretty pushy too. That's where people.
Ah,
got
yeah.
pushy.
There was this one chick, and she was pushy.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly. I feel like I probably
She was just
watched
like
that out 'cause-
forcing herself in. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, people were getting really
Yeah.
cranky and annoying on the way back.
Yeah, I
We didn't deal
remember.
with
I
that
remember.
the whole time until
What are
then.
you doing?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a bummer. Well, really quick before we wrap this up, want to chat about the upcoming season really quick, or just like recap 2024
Predictions?
Yeah. Let's do that. That's fun. Well, no, actually, you go ahead. Go first.
I think it's gonna be one of the best seasons in recent times. I think
Okay.
it's gonna be the most competitive. I don't think there's
Sure.
gonna be one team
Yeah.
that's gonna be like, oh well, yeah, they are leading. They're gonna like,
They got it clinched. kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be a big race between big three.
Yeah.
Red Bull,
Mercedes,
Ferrari. Well, no.
McLaren.
Yeah, it's gonna be Red Bull,
Right.
Ferrari, and McLaren.
McLaren killed it last year,
Red Bull.
2024.
I think everybody knows this. Red Bull, Ferrari, and McLaren. It'll be really interesting to see how Red Bull does.
Actually, that's true. Mercedes really hasn't been like super.
They haven't been
amazing.
super dominant in the last.
Yeah, that's true.
Few years.
That's true.
But like, yeah, it's gonna be. I think everyone is like on the edge of their seat with Lewis Hamilton on Ferrari, seeing how that's gonna. It's funny because I've read a lot of articles and a lot of people's impressions and stuff, and there's a lot of like people that are like really pro Lewis Hamilton, and there's people that are like, oh no, this is terrible. He's like washed up.
He's washed up. Yeah.
They did it for
it's
selling.
like it's not going to be Ferrari that brings him back, or it's not
they
the
just
car.
Want to like sell more merchandise
like
and marketing and all that. Although personally, I hope he does really well. I would love him to win a.
I like it. I like him. Yeah.
Drivers championship.
I guess I don't really.
Drivers championship. I think that would be really cool if he did it. And then
retired with Ferrari. That'd be pretty great.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool if he won the on a Ferrari. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Will it happen? Who knows?
I mean, it's just such an upset him leaving Mercedes after all this time.
Yeah, but I mean, there was nothing there for him. I get it.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Look how they've been doing. Not like nothing to really like write home about.
Yeah. I mean, it's
occasionally, but
other teams are like putting in, the money and they're putting in the effort to like, do better. And meanwhile, Mercedes is kind of like stuck. And it's just really,
George had some good
really tough to be part of a team that's just kind of like there and stuck versus a team that's like really for instance, like McLaren, right?
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago, like Zach Brown, the team, he was like on the chopping block. They're like, basically, we're going to fire you.
Yeah.
And this year or this past season, they won the Constructors Championship, and it's like, those type of turnarounds is like what you want to be a part of.
Yeah.
And I understand that like I understand that like there's ebbs and flows and like some teams are good and then they come out of, it. I don't know. It's all about, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of talent. It's not necessarily driver talent, it's design talent. It's people that are making the cars and all the fabricators and there's like talent overall, and talented people like that want to go to bigger teams, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like Williams.
I can't even talk about Carlos Sainz without having like a visceral reaction.
Like
and how sad.
I think it's cool that Williams is like such a historical team. They're like so old. They've been there forever. They used to be really, really good, right? They were so good. But then for whatever reason, they just kind of fell off. And over the years, it's just kind of like, they're just like there, not doing much. And they don't have as much money as a big team.
Sucking is what they're doing.
Well, they just don't have as much money and talent.
No, I know. Yeah, I understand. Like that's to win in Formula One, you need the money. Like, I've learned a lot.
I mean, money brings talent as well. But it's just, and so it's like if you're like a very talented aerodynamics engineer, it's like where would you rather go? Would you want to go to Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, or would you want to go to like Haas or Alpine or some smaller team?
More middle of the pack kind of
guys, obviously you want to go for the big ones.
That are like fighting for fifth or sixth, right?
It's tough because all those big teams that have all the money stay big with all the money,
right?
Because it's just it's
a vicious cycle.
It's the cycle. Like that just happens.
Get better,
And so it's hard to break the cycle if you're one of the other teams. So basically, it's like the top 4 teams, or 5 teams,
gonna like stay top.
They're all gonna be battling, and they're all gonna be flip flopping in those top 4 or 5 different places. And then all the other teams are like, well, we're all gonna try to get 6th place because
like Alpine or what's his name, Salvatore.
For Alpine,
crazy.
It's like
crazy guy.
They know that there's just no way they can beat, a Red Bull. Team, a Ferrari team, because they just don't have the resources. Which is interesting because there is a spending cap.
Yeah.
And teams get fined a lot for spending over, like Red Bull did not too long ago.
A year or two ago.
Spending.
Yeah, that's right.
I forgot about that. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Yeah. I think that Max is Verstappen. He's one of the greatest race car drivers in history.
The cockiest.
I mean,
ever heard
comes
of
with the territory.
Oh my god!
Well, he's Dutch too. That's kind of a Dutch thing.
We have a Dutch friend. We can say this. Uh, Dawn, if you're
Well, the
listening.
Dutch people are famous for saying
Just
being very
straight up.
yeah,
like,
they're famous for being like tell it how it is.
Well,
Like
he
even if
certainly
it's
does
like
that.
quite like rude, they're not trying to be rude. That's just kind of how they're just
I feel
saying
like
what
he
they
tries to be rude sometimes. What was that interview that the guy was like, whatever he asked, he was just like, how do you feel going into the season, whatever. And he was just like, I'm a 3-time world champion. I've been in F1
Yeah.
for 10 years. I know what I'm doing. Puts the mic down. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you're such a tool.
I mean, there is an element of cockiness in there
But
too, but
listen,
he's also Dutch.
I do respect the hell out of him as a driver. I do. He actually,
He's one of the greatest race car drivers in history.
okay.
He
I
might be by
do-
the end of his career the best.
Yes, but I do feel like he plays dirty sometimes. There are times where there was like a thing that him and Lando had this year, like a kind of, I can't even remember what happened, but I think someone was like,
It all
he walks the line in terms of like what is ethically allowed in terms of getting people off the track and shit like that.
Every time there's like a situation on the track, like racing, it's like depends on
It's, like,
who,
always
like it
involved.
depends on what side you're on.
Yeah.
Like every side is like we're right, you're wrong.
We saw that in Drive to Survive. We see that a lot, and
Yeah.
everyone thinks they're right for
Yeah.
whatever reason. And it's like as bystanders, we can kind of see really what's happening.
Yeah, but
or
like
what's
you,
going on,
if
but,
you like the other driver more, you're gonna side with them, right?
yeah. And I'm pretty much always going to side with anyone who's not. vice
Yeah,
versa.
so there's a lot of bias involved with that kind of stuff, which is
yeah,
funny.
yeah. But there's a lot of falls of great drivers in the last like year or two. So Daniel Ricciardo is out, right? Sergio Perez is also out now, I believe.
He's on a team.
Liam, is he?
Yeah.
Well,
Sergio
Liam
Perez?
Lawson is taking his place, so
Yeah.
he's not a main driver for Red Bull anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe he's a reserve.
There's a couple
I don't
new
know.
drivers too.
Who's the guy with like the blonde mullet?
God,
Blanking on his name.
that haircut
Oh
is
my
horrendous.
God, who is it? Anyway, I think he might not
Is it
be
let me
racing.
see.
Bottas.
Yeah, Valerie Bottas.
Valtteri Bottas.
5.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some, key drivers that are either not racing at all anymore, or they lost their place for one reason or another.
So
it's interesting.
yeah. So we got so there's new. So for Alpine, it's Pierre Gasly
Gasly.
and Jack Doohan.
Doohan, that's right.
So he's new.
He started in 2024, like midway through, I think, because Ocon
Ocon's on Haas.
got kicked, or he went to. I guess maybe he made the decision to go to Haas, but then like Alpine was.
So Haas is
what's his face was
Ocon
done with him
and
anyway.
Ollie Behrman.
Yes, who's I'm impressed by him. He's
And then there's on Kick Sauber, there's Nico Hulkenberg and
Hulkenberg is
Gabriel
new.
Bortoleto.
that's a new
He's
one.
a new one.
Yeah.
I think he was.
yeah.
I think he was reserved.
Italian. He was on
Uh,
F2, I thought.
Mercedes.
Anyway, yes,
Mercedes is George Russell
Russell
and
and-
Kimi Antonelli, new kid.
Oh, it's
17
it's
years
Kimi
old.
that I'm thinking of. Yeah, he seems
Racing
awesome.
Bulls, Red Bull's
Right.
second team is Isaac Hadjar and Yuki Tsunoda. Never heard of that
okay.
guy.
I know Yuki,
Isaac
obviously,
Hadjar.
but yeah, I don't know. The
And
guy.
then obviously Red Bull is Max and
Right.
Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Williams is Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz. Yeah, you're right.
Makes me sad.
Sergio
I know,
Perez
right?
isn't on
Perez
a
is
team.
out,
Yeah.
and Ricardo. I mean, unless they're
I wouldn't be
reserve drivers, but I don't think
surprised
they
if
are.
one of these new people or maybe one of the older like does shit and then Sergio Perez comes back. I wouldn't be
Maybe.
surprised.
He was having
didn't
a
do very well.
rough time last season. I'm not entirely surprised that went the way that it did. Sadly, I
Yeah.
like Sergio. Perez.
Interesting.
He's Checo.
Technically, the Grand Prix weekend starts 1 day, 2 hours, and 27 minutes because they're
Oh,
gonna
right, because of
qualifying,
and...
practice. They're gonna do practice probably starting. Is today Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, starting tomorrow. They're gonna start practice.
That's cool.
First practice, I imagine.
God, I still can't get over this Carlos Sainz situation.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not gonna be like his career's over, but like, oh God, I hope he still has a chance somehow. It's so sad, especially seeing him in Drive to Survive. Like who wants to leave Ferrari, right? Like, and also I'm realizing through you and just like things now how like basically everyone wants to drive for Ferrari at some point in their career. So
Yeah.
it seems. But do we
It's
think
like-
Max would go to Ferrari? This is hypothetical. I'm not saying he ever would or anything, but like, do we really think Max
Right now, I
would
think
ever
he
go?
would if they offered him a good number.
Really?
Yeah, because like there was like
Interesting.
so many rumors that he was like ready to leave Red Bull last year.
Right. Well, and then
because of the
there's all the
whole
things with all the
stupid
rumors with
thing.
I want to say Gunther.
No, yeah,
It's not
I miss
Gunther.
him
I
too.
freaking love Gunther though. God, he's funny.
Yeah, the whole not conspiracy, but like
No.
what would you call
Oh
that?
my God, what's his name? The principal for freaking Red Bull. Why are we blanking? I'll look it up. But anyway, all the rumors of him, the inappropriate or the
Oh,
texts and things.
with this, yeah, and he's married to the Spice Girl.
Yeah, I like how we can remember. It's Jerry's husband, principal for Red Bull. Christian Horner.
That
God,
guy.
how could we heard his name a
I know. I
bajillion
was
times?
staring. I was like, I could see his face clear as day, but I just couldn't think of
I
his
know,
name.
me too. Anyway, yeah, there
Blanking.
was that whole thing, which I don't think we ever got like any.
They just missed it.
It's just dismissed now.
Yeah.
So he was just found
Not
like
credible, I
not
guess. I don't know. Whatever.
interesting. Okay then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be cool. It'll be a cool season. I hope.
Yeah. I'm
excited for
excited.
it not to be like a one horse race, you know.
Yes, I feel like it's been like
I think
that.
everybody has been like, I'm
Super
so
over Red
sick
Bull
of the
winning everything.
domination. They
Yeah.
want like actual, like last year we got a taste of that because there was like a 3-way race for constructors championship.
Lando and Oscar were like cool to watch. I mean, obviously I wish Ferrari had like, and at least
I mean, it came
Charles
down
was-
to the last race for the constructors. If Ferrari would have won the
That's
last
true,
race,
right.
they would have won the constructors
That's
championship.
okay. Yeah,
So
that's
it was like super exciting at the
Yeah.
end of the season there
Mhm.
because of that. That's what
That's
people
true.
want.
That's true. But yeah, the world championship,
The drivers.
the driver championship.
Yeah, that was
it's like that
clinched,
was determined like 2-3 races
halfway through the
before.
season.
Or yeah, if not even more. Yeah, and I know.
I know. I'm trying to think of like I think the drivers that have a chance of being the world champion
Mhm.
individual. I think that it's Max, Lando.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to say Charles, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I think my top 3 are Max, Lando, and
You gonna say Lewis?
No.
I don't know that I see that happening. Not that he's like not good or couldn't with Ferrari. I don't know. I just
yeah, Max, Lando, or probably Charles.
or just like some crazy rookie. I don't know. It's gonna be.
That'd be really cool
We're
if that-
seeing
yeah.
a new generation
It'd
of
be cool
drivers
if that
right now.
new Italian kid did well. That'd be fun.
Yeah, even though he's
Uh,
like not on our team.
Yeah, I don't care. Whatever. I hope he does well.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Lando win. I like Lando Norris a lot. He's.
I
warmed up
like
to me.
him. I like him. He's a bit of a crybaby, but I like him. I think I could hang out with him when we get along,
A
but
little bit,
he's a
maybe.
bit of a powder when things don't go his way.
That's not inaccurate. What did in Drive to Survive they were like, if Lando really wants to like really compete against Max and like really have a shot, like he kind of has to like change his mindset and like kind of
And like I
get a thicker skin.
yeah.
They were literally like, Max has just a fuck you attitude,
Yeah.
and Lando needs to tap into that. I'm
Like I get it.
"You're not
I've been
wrong,"
in
like-
competitive sports, and so it's
Yeah.
like really difficult when you don't do well or you don't get the outcome you want. Like
yeah,
it's so difficult.
you,
Like
you
I get
pout
it.
probably.
Yeah, I
I'd
mean I
imagine.
get it, but it's like
Max pouts in his own way. He just gets more like angry and frustrated and stuff. I feel like
yeah,
he
Max
just-
is like if things don't go his way, it's not his fault. It's like things are against him.
There's not a
it's
lot
not
of-
my fault.
not a lot of
like,
accountability.
The dogs were barking, the sun was in my eyes. Like, what do you want from me? You know, that's kind of a Max vibe.
Yeah, but then he's also like multiple times throughout like that series was just like, oh, you can't win them all. I was like, that's interesting.
I mean, that's easy to say when you do win them all.
That's true.
Like, of course, that's
Yeah.
what someone that's, won like, 18 of the whatever races,
Yeah, that's a good
is like on the podium 75% of the time. Like, oh, you can't win them all. Like, obviously you're going to say that. When one person, like when a driver like, doesn't get on the podium very often,
Yeah.
they're not going to sit in the back. Well, you can't win them all.
Like for example, like when Lando won his first one, and it was just like a whole
Yeah.
thing, and it was like, oh, you like you could kind of tell it was his first.
yeah, it's
but-
like, yeah, of course the driver that wins them all is going to be like, well, you can't win them all.
We can't win them
Yeah,
all.
Must be nice.
Yeah, and also we can just end this by saying it's so funny how people just like the other principals just like hate Zach Brown. Like they just find him so annoying. I don't think they hate him. Hate's a strong word, but they were like, God, he's a dick. Like he's just because he's so like when he gloats, he just
He's very
he's just like I he's fine with me. I don't mind him, but
I
I
mean,
get why
you don't
they're
have to
annoyed.
deal with him.
That's true. Like Christian
He
Horner,
does a
especially,
lot
he's
of.
like,
I mean, they
God,
all do a bit of it anyway.
that kind of just like
no, it's like
peacocking of like,
they pretend and they put on a front like, oh yeah, we're all like friendly and stuff like
yeah.
that. But
No, they're competitive as hell.
when it comes down to it, like
They're in it for themselves. Like it's all,
they'll do
yeah,
they'll say anything, you know, to like get the
yeah,
upper hand, right? They'll do anything and say anything to
yeah,
get the upper hand. Like,
yeah.
you know, they'll walk by the, you know, their garage and be like, I think their car's too low, and they'll call like, you know, someone over to come check out the car and be like, is this too low? And like they like do shit like that.
shady.
And even if it's like totally fine, it still gets in their head, right? It's all about getting in someone's head.
Yeah, it's
So they all do
warfare.
all that kind of stuff.
Like, men, Jesus Lord, grow up.
But like, I mean, yeah, there was interviews where it was like, you know, like a panel. It was like Christian Horner was there,
like all the
Zach
bunch
Brown,
of principal Toto Wolff,
Toto, and like they were asking him questions and
Yeah.
stuff, and like, you know, Zach would, you know, give his 2 cents and say what he's thinking, and like, you know, Christian didn't agree with what he said. He's like, oh, what an asshole. It's
Yeah.
like, oh God.
He's just like, yeah, they're just.
Yeah.
It's just funny the rivalries. My favorite is
Vasseur, Fred Vasseur.
Yeah,
he's
Fred
funny.
Ferrari. God, he's great. He's
Yeah,
just hilarious.
He's really fun.
He just has like a cool rapport with Charles too. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like.
And it helps they both speak French.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel like immediately you're gonna get along with people if you speak their language.
Oh well, yeah.
That's why
sure.
everyone in Ferrari love Charles, because he speaks fluent Italian.
Yeah, I think Carlos, could speak Italian.
I mean, I'm sure
I know
he picked up
Spanish,
a lot.
obviously, but
that was the thing before when they were saying that, like Lewis
But
Hamilton,
Lewis is like
he's like an outsider.
fish
He
out of
doesn't
water.
speak the language. They're
Yeah.
like treat him differently and all that because he doesn't speak Italian. Like,
I hope
yeah.
not. It's like it's not his fault necessarily. I mean, hopefully he's learning a little. Yeah, it's gonna be.
It'll change
one
real
hell of a
quick if he
season.
starts winning.
Yeah,
There's one thing I've learned in my
legend.
life
I
is
mean,
winners get treated well.
differently.
You can do anything you want as
Unfortunately.
long as you win.
Yeah.
As soon as you stop winning, you gotta follow the
Yay,
rules.
competitive sports.
But if you keep winning, you can just do whatever you want.
Oh my god. Well, I can't wait.
Winners,
very
like
excited.
the great Ricky Bobby once said, winners get to do what they want.
Oh, for crying out loud, you did not just quote Ricky Bobby.
He also raced cars.
Speaking of NASCAR.
Yeah, he also raced. Winners get to do what
Oh
they
my god,
want.
can you guys hear my eye roll through this microphone?
There were some great quotes.
Can you come up with a better quote to end
It's
this
a fantastic.
episode?
Winners get to do what they want. It's a fantastic
Oh my
quote because
God.
it's so true.
You're so lame.
So true.
It's so funny. Anyway, well, that concludes our little Formula One recap, whatever this
Preview.
preview recap. Yeah, it's great. It's a fun sport. It's certainly more entertaining to watch than cars going left.
Yeah,
all the time.
if you like to see left and right hand turns, give it a shot.
Oh my god. It really is like my dream to drive one of those cars. It'll never happen because they're like impossible to drive. But I think that's what I find so cool and fascinating too, is like
They also cost $20 million.
also that. But and I crashed it into a wall immediately. But so cool that like so few people can like drive those cars. Like that's pretty amazing. I don't know. It's just wow.
Yeah, I mean, you
What
hear them
sport?
talking about it like when they crash.
Yeah.
You can't let the car turn off because then you can't start it.
Oh, that's true.
So like if you like kind of crash a little bit or spin out,
Yeah.
like you'll hear on the announcers, the driver will spin out and you're like, oh, he did a good job keeping the car running, and then you can like keep going because as soon as the car shuts off,
Like, it's done?
Yeah, they have to like
How does
you have to prime the engine and all kinds of stuff.
Oh
You
my
can't just hit a
God.
button.
It's like a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a faff.
What decade are you from?
It's a bit of a faff. There's some fiddling that has to be done.
Oh my god. I can't. On that note.
Yeah.
Well, more to come. Maybe we'll do another little recap at the end of this or something. It's kind of travel related, right?
I
You
mean,
have
yeah,
to
we
travel
can just
to
every
go
week
to-
every week when we can just do a quick F1
Maybe we'll do
recap
like a little recap. Yeah, it's
of
fine.
every race.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoy F1 somewhat as much as we do and find it interesting, but it's a fun sport. It's really yeah, I always joke like, man, if I can like it.
Yeah, it's anyone can like it if she likes it.
Yeah. And for you ladies out there, there's some beautiful men in it. So
that there is.
There's that too. And some hot girlfriends for the guys, right?
Yeah, they don't show them very often though.
And Drive to Survive, they did. Oh yeah, Max is having a baby this year. I forgot about that. He's gonna become a dad. That's so strange to me. Funny. Yeah. Anyway, all right, sidebar, but thanks for hanging out with us on this one. If you guys also have any I don't know, questions or anything about going to Monza, Formula One race in general, whatever, feel free to DM us, email us, or for anything else. We're here to connect with you guys. So thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us and tuning into the Taste Toast Travel podcast. We really appreciate you being here and hope you're enjoying these honest conversations about all things sipping, savoring, and seeing the world. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, we would truly appreciate a rating or review on whatever platform you're tuning in on, so fellow foodies, Epicureans, and travel enthusiasts can enjoy this content too. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a follow at Taste Toast Travel. We'll see you in the next episode.